Our next reader is Katie Battistoni. Battistoni, sorry.
Okay. This is part of, well, this is taken from my memoirs. Just from when I was a student in France. And this particular excerpt is when I was spending like a New Year's vacation in Paris. Jim Jarmusch, you and Jim Jarmusch taught me to sit still. I'd met him at a jazz club, 2.5 $18 scotches in. I'd leaned over and remarked that the pianist didn't exactly sound like Tommy Flanagan. My sarcasm was lost on this old European man. But that didn't stop him from trying, because I was a girl wearing a tank top and a guitar. Today, I went walking, the old man essayed, choosing to change the subject. I walked till I found biggest chocolate shop in Paris. Then I bought biggest chocolate. Then I ate whole thing. I laughed at this non sequitur, and we sat in silence. After a while, we went up to play a Charlie Parker tune on the bandstand. Donna Lee. The bartender egged me on. Vas-y, vas-y. I felt my spirit rise. My fingers flew. The old man bent over his upright bass, looked up and smiled. In 5 years, he said, you will be best guitarist in the world. The old man left the club after that, handing me a mealy receipt. On the back, he'd written his phone number. I put it in my purse and drank my scotch. A few days passed before I called the old man. We met in the heart of the city. I was staying in a tiny hotel on the Rue de Rivoli, where the Mona Lisa is, and the chocolate shops and tourist stands and bookshops. From my balcony across the icy Seine, I could see the Musée d'Orsay and Notre Dame de Paris, the kind of beautiful buildings that kind of ask to be jumped off of. That's how lonely I was. It was the beginning of a new year. I didn't know a soul this side of the Atlantic. That January in Paris, I'd waken mornings on the floor of the old man's ghetto apartment. He'd kiss me and ask, hungry? He'd say, time to stand up, and boil polenta and stir in sheep's cheese and fill 2 bowls, and we'd sit, eating the hot corn mush. Then he'd make a pot of coffee with whole milk. We'd drink it slowly, puffing hand-rolled cigarettes and exchanging our first ideas of the day. He told me his story. He'd run away from Serbia at 18 with his upright bass. He came to Paris because as a child he'd seen the movie Casablanca. In Serbia, my mother left me at movie house when she was working. Every day, new movie. A sunbeam fell through the small square window and made shadows on his face. How old are you? I asked. The old man tucked my hair behind my ear. He brushed his hands over my hips. 48. You're twice my age. You're my baby, he murmured. Once the old man took me on the train out of the banlieue. We didn't pay for our tickets, just got on and took it to the last stop. We passed the time kissing. We reveled in it. A young girl and this old timer, holding hands, necking. When we got off, the old man took me to a rundown little park. I didn't see anybody there except maybe some drug dealers nodding off by the gate. At the top of a high hill was a wide grass plain. No trees, no flowers, just plain gray grass and trash and a chain link fence. And over to the left, many kilometers away and about as tall as a pin and just unbelievable, the Eiffel Tower. We laid down. I was wearing a short dress. The old man read, and I stared at the Eiffel Tower. The sky was gray and there were dandelions everywhere. A weak sun heated my back and legs as I lay on my stomach. Then the old man's hand was up my dress and he was massaging my ass in the open of that barren field. I sprang up, feeling a flush on my neck. Suddenly I saw people all around, and they all looked like perverts. I saw a perverted-looking businessman on his lunch break and some pervert lovers. And I even saw a man holding a perverted baby. I wanted to go home. I felt like a little girl stretched across a king-sized mattress. I felt perverted. I wanted to go home. Stop that, I said, shoving his veiny hand away. What, baby? I'm not your baby, I thought. I'm not your baby, I whispered. He kissed my cheek. We went back to his ghetto apartment, and he boiled chicken and rice. A breeze blew through the small square window. We sat still.